Ladies and gentlemen, we are about ready to get started. There was a mix-up with the admins, so unfortunately we weren't able to get into the mana game. It actually started before the invites came. So, we've jumped into Dimaga versus Sjow instead, which should also be an absolutely fantastic matchup between two great players that I know very well and love dearly. What can I say? They're both extremely huggable people, which you might find surprising considering Dimaga is absolutely terrifying and can be compared to a large Hydralisk. Sjow, on the other hand, is fairly reserved, although he can be quite scary when provoked. Just be careful. Just waiting for all the casters to load in the game. They need to pedal faster with their computers by the looks of it. We've got a couple of other casters in. I'm not actually sure who, but it looks like we are about ready to get going. Yes, we are. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to this, the Twitch TV and Thermaltake Esports Invitational, brought to you by Twitch TV, Thermaltake Esports, and Playhem. My name is TotalBiscuit, and I am bringing you, to my great delight, mTw Mind Factory's Dimaga. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg. To the west of this, the Metalopolis, versus his opponent from Team Dignitas. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran. He goes by the name of Sjow, and he has spawned to the east. This should be an interesting matchup between these two players. I would say this is a very evenly matched fight. Very much an evenly matched fight, without any doubts at all. Some scary stuff. So we'll see how this one turns out, shall we? I'm looking forward to it, really. Very much looking forward to it. Now, I would expect Dimaga to go for the hatchery first here. Wouldn't really be a big surprise, especially on Metalopolis. Now, Sjow has been known to play quite a bit of mech against Zerg, but he does vary things up. He's not exactly predictable in that respect. Sjow's quite a methodical player, but he's actually going to go for a 2-racks opening here, which is getting increasingly popular, I have to say. And it's a proxy 2-racks, as you can see here. Now, the question is, does this actually give a clue to Dimaga? Because that is nicely out of position. Dimaga has not scouted that proxy barracks yet. SCV then deployed over there. Now he can go and see, well, there's no gas, so is this a gasless expand? This is the really nasty thing about going proxy 2-racks. It can be mistaken for a gasless expansion build, whereas in reality it's actually very aggressive, and this is designed to try and punish this hatchery and can be used in combination with the bunker. So Dimaga, in fact, is now chasing Sjow's SCV, which is deliberately leading him away from that proxy barracks. A very sneaky maneuver here from Sjow. Okay, double barracks are now in play, and as you can see, you can follow the line all the way over here. You will notice that it has all been bound over in this direction. Now, it's not in close air position, and Sjow now realizes this, having not seen Overlord or anything like that, and will now go to scout over here. This is where things start to get messy, folks. Can Dimaga deal with it? Now, the funny thing about 2-racks is that it used to be really, really standard aggressive opening against Zerg, and then Zerg pretty much figured it out. And then they sort of didn't. It became standard once again. It became quite powerful. Alright, Dimaga is now patrolling aggressively with his drone, but unfortunately he's not poking and prodding right here just yet. He needs to start doing that. And drones now being pulled off the line. A very significant number of drones does not want that to happen. Chasing them away. And a nice little bit of control here, actually. Should be able to take down that SCV. And there we go. That bunker will not go up in time. And Dimaga pulling an awful lot of drones off in the process. And he's going to lose quite a few as well. Is able to surround and kill that, and there's the cancellation. The problem is this is actually doing a bit of damage in terms of mining time loss. You can look at the income, you see how much Dimaga has actually dropped here, even though he kept the majority of those drones alive. That said, it's not an economically focused build from Sjow either, so as long as he's able to defend without too many problems, which he certainly has, then he should be okay. He'll be able to catch up without too much of a problem. He's building another round of Lings. Needs to deal with these 4 Marines. He knows that. The Lings are now out and they're on creep, and you can actually go for the engagement here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. There we go. There's the surround right here. A very nice surround by Dimaga. Crushes that in the center there, and now Sjow knows his money is up and has converted this into a gasless expand on 2 barracks, which has delayed the expansion somewhat, and is going to give Dimaga an opportunity to get a really nice lead. It's also going to give Dimaga the opportunity to bake some of his famous spice cake, which he will not send to Sjow. Perhaps he will. It will be filled with poison. Don't run over there, Dimaga. No. A little bit of a shooting gallery going on, and Sjow says absolutely no. I'm not going to have any of that nonsense, thank you very, very much. In there, he spots the proxy barracks and is going to force that to lift off and move away. A lone Marine is very brave, and there's the surround. A nice grab once again by Dimaga. Is almost artistic, a little bit of Zerg ballet going on. Liking it a lot. In the meantime, economic advantage stands in the hands of Dimaga for the time being, but he will be forced to take a third sooner rather than later as a result of this expansion that's coming up here from Zjow. Now, Dimaga probably expects that this is going to happen. He's going to leave a single Ling there just to keep an eye on it. It's like, that Ling is actually hiding in the long grass there. This is not League of Legends. He will not spring out of there shouting, Demacia! It's not going to happen, as much as I would like to see that. Got another hatchery coming up right here. That is a macro hatch from Dimaga going up at the appropriate time. Playing a fairly low-tech build for the moment. No lair tech coming up as of yet, so this lair is going to be fairly late. It's going to stay on hatchery tech for a while, which is fine. It's not a problem. Doesn't really need that lair tech just yet. Zjow's tech has been delayed significantly because of the 2 barracks plays, so he's not too concerned about that. He hasn't had gas for ages, and he's got no other upgrades, so he's going to be relying entirely on that. Now, he'll have seen that coming, so he knows the expansion is on its way, and Dimaga's now going to be considering taking a third just to keep up with his opponent. A couple of spine crawlers here just to make sure that the defense is solid, and it is for the time being. There's nothing really Zjow can actually do until they actually get some tech going, so Dimaga is free to drone for the moment. Going to take 2 more extractors, and we can expect to see some Mutalisk play perhaps coming up from that, with the hatchery now morphing into the Spire. Taking 4 extractors at this stage is indicative that he might want to go for Spire Tech. Could also be going for Infester. There's nothing really wrong with that either, so we'll see what he decides to do. Dimaga has great Mutalisk control, but his Infester play is also rather fancy. Mule's now coming down, and Zjow's going to have to play the catch-up game in terms of his income at the moment. That's the income comparison right now. Dimaga does have the lead, regardless of the fact that those mules are out. And double engineering bay coming up from Zjow, so he's going to be playing a bio build. And this is, at the moment, going to be Marine Hellion, which is an interesting little composition, and will actually work fairly well against his opponent. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Medivacs yet. That's definitely what I would like to see from him, because the Roach Warren has gone up for Dimaga right here, so he'd be able to repulse this with pure Roach. Now, if, of course, there were Medivacs in the mix, well, to be honest, Marines with Medivacs trade really well against pure Roach, because the Roach DPS just isn't high enough to overwhelm the healing, so they do extremely well there. Zjow scouting around, seeing what he can see. There's nothing in the meantime. What does he find? He knows about the third. Fairly predictable at this stage. No real surprise for him. Spire Tech coming up from Dimaga. Liking that a lot. If it's just going to be up against Marine Hellion, he should be okay. He's got to be careful, though, because, of course, if the Marine count gets too high and the upgrade count gets too high, then Mutalisk play is going to be effectively shut down. But Marines, of course, can't be everywhere at once. And this is the most important thing to note. He doesn't have a starport, which means if he's got to force stims over and over again, then Zjow's Marines are going to be awfully tired by the time that he actually decides to attack. So it depends what happens in the next couple of minutes. If Zjow decides to get aggressive, he's got more Hellions moving in here. If he decides to get aggressive and start to do damage, then he could catch his opponent out. Only 9 Lings and 9 Roaches on the field at the moment. No Roach speed available just yet, although it's going to be complete shortly. I'm liking Dimaga's creep spread here as well. He's giving himself a lot of options in regards to where he engages. A nice open area for great surrounds. Those Hellions are absolutely having none of that, and that Queen's going to try and repulse them, but that's not going to happen. He knows that Dimaga needs to back away pretty much immediately, trying to bait his opponent out of position, but Zjow is not that stupid. It's not going to happen. And there we go. Roach is now in defense on the third, and we're going to have to see what Zjow's going to do. He's actually going to go for a big push with these Marines, and this is an interesting time to push out, actually, because it's not really a timing. I think what he wants to do is to try and punish this third. Normally, you'd expect him to wait for +1/+1, but that's not going to happen at all. He thinks, I believe, that it's more important to try and kill the third before that happens. The question is, can he do it? Well, there's 18 Roaches on the field, so I'm going to go with no. We'll see, though. Stim isn't complete, so really, I would say that Dimaga should be able to hold this, especially with reinforcements. He'll start to build a pure Roach right now, as you can see. Queen's going to go down. The few Lings moving in to try and surround, because not enough of them. And even Marines with Combat Shield melt very, very rapidly against that number of Roaches. Let's see how the trade goes. 20 more Roaches on the way, so this shouldn't be a problem. But let's see how much damage Zjow can actually do to the mineral line right there. The entire mineral line getting roasted. Nicely done there with the Hellion placement. The Marines eventually cleaned up as well. Even without Stim, Marines are still quite nasty, as you can see there. And Zjow, unfortunately, now lagging out. This is not a great time for that to happen. Apparently, Zjow has been having computer problems lately. I am concerned. Well, That isn't good. Show... this is going to suck, because I don't... The admin's going to have to make a decision on how this game goes. I'm not sure how the rules are actually set up. Show has been having computer problems, as I said. And that might be Show out of this game. Could even be out of the series. I don't know. It's too even to tell. No one was clearly winning. That engagement went in favor of Dimaga, in my opinion. But I think this is going to have to end up being a regame. Well, that really is unfortunate, isn't it? Oh my. Well, folks, there's not really a lot we can do about that, is there? Nope. Not under any stretch of the imagination. Sad face. Oh, Show, where did you go? Where did you go? I don't know. Well, bollocks. I can't even get out of the game. It's actually locked. Oh, Battle.net, you're a wonderful thing. Welp. I can't even type because I'm not a referee. No, I can't tell you, Dimaga, I'm sorry. Ugh, God. Alright, folks, I'm going to have a music break. There's no point in me just staring at this. I'm going to have to try and find out what the hell's going on. I can't even get out of this game at the moment. I may be forced to even reload Starcraft. Alright. Not a good start to the tournament. I know it's not my fault, but I'm going to apologize anyway. Sorry, folks. I'll see what I can find out, and I'll be back as soon as I can.